I mean, they literally trained before debut to be able to sing and perform at the same time. It's their job, so I think they should definitely think that lip syncs should be banned. I'm not shelling out $100-something to see them dance and not sing. Dancing is important for sure, since a lot of idols are known for both dancing and singing. However, they are performing songs, and songs should be sung. I feel like if the backing track covers all their voices, it's pretty misleading to the audience, and it makes me doubt their true talents. As a result, I have to look up MR-removed videos that aren't always the best quality in order to judge the group's singing ability. I don't mind a backtrack because sometimes in hard choreo moments, artists need to rely on that, but please just sing along with the backtrack when you can. I don't want to just watch you mouth along to your own song like it's dance practice.
Lip syncing in K-pop is a very touchy subject for many. Many pop bands have been criticized for lip syncing during their live performances, with some saying that it ruins their authenticity, has no moral value, and doesn't feel real. However, I'm here to tell you that no matter how hard a group tries to perform live, it is impossible to perfectly balance accurate vocals with intense choreography, which makes lip syncing a necessary evil in certain situations. I'm someone who has done professional marching band at the age of 15. Though K-pop and marching band may seem like two different worlds, both are actually quite similar. Both combine visuals and music in order to create performances for the fans to enjoy. Though high school marching band is relatively easy, pro marching band is on a whole different level. Here's an example of someone moving and playing. You may be wondering, how are people playing at all during these huge steps? Well, here's the answer. In order to sound good while moving, players need to engage their core muscles. By doing this, the core muscles will then absorb the shock of moving so that the upper body remains relatively still. However, when singing, engaging core muscles hinders vocal power and resonance, which means that engaging the core is not a feasible option for singers. Therefore, singers cannot engage their core to their maximum extent, which means singers will sound bouncy or out of tune when moving even a little bit. As you can hear, he's a little out of tune. Now, you may be thinking, K-pop performers move and sing all the time. How is it even possible that they can sing while moving? Well, K-pop producers use extremely intelligent techniques to get around this issue. We'll be going over this in the coming sections. With this preliminary knowledge out of the way, let's move on to our first point. In the previous section, we have established that large movements while singing is not really possible. But now, we're going to get into some examples. The first clip is from Girls' Generation. They are performing a song called The Boys. Let's take a look at their beautiful solos and how smart choreography gets around the issues of moving and singing. As you saw, the soloist is barely moving her body. Her arms are in motion, however, her movements are relatively fluid. This kind of movement does not require much core engagement. Even with this little movement, the soloists sound a little out of tune and a little shaky. Therefore, expecting perfection when the soloists are moving and singing is just not feasible. It's not that these performers are bad, it's because the performers are human too. Just like any other human, mistakes will be made while performing. Therefore, limiting tough choreography while singing is going to be the recipe for success. Now, let's take a look at an example from Twice. They are singing the song called I Can't Stop Me, which is famous for having very intense choreography. In this example, the soloist moves a lot while singing. Let's hear what it sounds like to sing while having extremely dynamic movements. Of course, the singing could use some work in this clip. However, I'm surprised she's singing at all, considering the fact she's bouncing up and down and doing little jumps. Even though those little jumps may look easy, they're definitely not easy to pull off while singing. Let's take a look at another clip from the same video, which has been the source of many heated debates. The soloist will bend down, then come back up during her solo. If it's really hard to sing while doing small jumps or just moving your arms, there's no possible way she could sing in this instance. If she did, she would sound really unstable. Let's move to our second point. The law of many voices is a term I created. Basically, when a large group of people sing at the same time, they will automatically sound better than it really should. An example of this can be seen when singing your national anthem. We all had to sing the national anthem back in grade school. When we all sang together, it did not sound that bad, though almost everyone had little to no vocal training. This is the law of many voices in effect. The law of many voices exists because sound travels in waves. The waves from each person will travel together to make a super wave. Therefore, the slight mistakes by each person are covered by the other singers, or in many cases, the backing track. Let's take a look at Girls' Generation when they sing together.
Bring the boys out, girls' generation, make you feel the heat.
As we've established, there's really no way to get a super stable sound while moving a lot. However, since everyone is singing in unison, this means that the instability is cancelled out and made less noticeable. In addition to this, the backing track is very loud, which hides the girls' unstable voices. Let's look at an example from professional marching band. Do you expect me to believe that all 24 trumpets sounded perfect during this clip? No way! They were all really unstable, I heard it. However, since there are so many players playing, all that instability is cancelled out, and that makes this clip sound pretty good. Though the law of many voices is indeed very helpful, K-pop bands also increase the volume of the backing tracks on harder choreography so that the singers are barely heard. Why do they do this? Because singers don't sound good while singing in midair. Believe me, I've tried. Many singers singing at the same time gives the option for people to breathe while the other people are still singing. One person not singing won't change how everything sounds if there are 10 other people singing. During exercise, breathing is so important, and K-pop stars are no different from ordinary people. Having many places to breathe while winded can make things much easier. Let's take a look at an example of stagger breathing from professional marching band. Of course, no one was playing for the entire 10 seconds. Every person was assigned a specific place to breathe while everyone else kept playing. Now, let's take a look at why stagger breathing can be so helpful in K-pop. The soloist had trouble singing this part since she was so winded. Let's take a listen. As you heard, the singer was gasping for air. If all members sang with her, they could use stagger breathing, making this much easier. It also doesn't help that the singing lines do not give enough time for a good breath. Let's talk about what atonal means. Atonal singing is when a person sings without pitch. Whenever you talk, this is called atonal since your voice is not a specific pitch when talking. Atonal singing is something that rappers and K-pop stars do all the time. This is because singing atonally is much easier than singing tonally. In addition, most people do not realize how much easier atonal singing is. Let's look at an example of atonal singing. With that example out of the way, I'm going to have my friend Alex sing a few lines for us in order to prove that atonal singing helps to hide instability while singing and moving together. Let's listen to how he sounds while singing and moving.
One thing, I don't know why, it doesn't even matter how hard you try. One thing, I don't know why, it doesn't even matter how hard you try.
As you can see, there is not much of a difference in how it sounds compared to standing still. This is because movement affects pitch. Since pitch is not important in atonal singing, mistakes in pitch can be made without the audience knowing or caring about it. For many, this may seem like an insignificant topic, but to visually trained individuals, a high tempo makes things way harder, especially for K-pop stars. A higher tempo means that all movements need to be faster to account for that tempo. This faster movement can lead to unstable singing. Let's take a listen to BTS singing Butter at the tempo of 110 beats per minute. This song is relatively slow, but you can still hear slight instability in the singer's voice. Because the tempo is much slower, the members of BTS have much more time to move and dance carefully and comfortably, while also being able to more accurately hit the notes that they are singing. Let's compare that clip to a performance from Twice, though the visuals may look a lot easier. A tempo of 148 beats per minute make these seemingly simple visuals extremely challenging for singers due to the instability and stamina issues they introduce. Ironically, the Twice soloists are singing at an equivalent level to BTS at this faster tempo, which is quite impressive. However, the quicker tempo doesn't leave a lot of room for them to breathe. Stamina issues at these higher tempos cannot be underestimated, since vocalists cannot breathe at any time they wish. Try jog at a BPM of 110 while breathing every 5 seconds. People who exercise regularly can probably do this for a minute or so easily. Now, try jogging at a tempo of 148 beats per minute while breathing every 5 seconds. I exercise very frequently, and I can tell you that this is way harder. There's a reason most K-pop songs are slower. Higher tempos decrease stamina much quicker, while also seeming easy to laymen watching. This is a very bad combination indeed. Now, combine the lack of stamina with adjusting your voice for dynamics, singing at the correct pitch, and knowing when to breathe. And you can see why doing all this at a faster pace can be a difficult thing to do. Choreography refers to the dance routines that K-pop groups do. Choreographers can set their singers up for success with smart movement choices. Let's take a look at Twice. This group has been criticized for their lack of vocal strength. To be fair, I do think some of the members are a little weak vocally, but their lead singers Jiho and Nayeon are very strong singers. However, the choreography they are given during their solos really sets the lead singers up for failure and makes them look really bad compared to what they really are. The soloists are moving a lot during these solos, when in reality, they should be moving a lot less. Let's take a look at an example of bad choreography. This choreography looks really easy to untrained people. Therefore, many people think that singing while doing this choreography would be really easy. However, reality doesn't work that way, as we've established during the past sections. Any aggressive body movements can cause major instability while singing. Let's take a look at good choreography. The choreography from Girls' Generation takes the solos into account, and this makes the singers' lives way easier. Let's take a listen. The choreographers made sure that the soloists move very little while singing, which really sets them up for success. In addition to that, the arm movements do not hinder their ability to sing. As you can see, the lower part of their bodies really don't have to move very much. All the issues we went over highlight why lip syncing is used in K-pop. The main culprit for why lip syncing is utilized is due to bad choreography. The choreography needs to take singing into account when design decisions are made. Intense choreography should be given when an idol is not singing. Otherwise, this makes singing almost impossible or very challenging. At times, this makes lip syncing the only viable option. Let's take a look at an impossible scenario. K-pop idols sound really unstable when moving even a little bit. Now imagine jumping over someone and singing perfectly. That's not possible. One solution would be to cut down on the soloist's movements. Another solution is for the backing track to be turned up to the maximum volume so that the singer's voice cannot be heard. But at that point, that's basically lip syncing. At the end of the day, we're not nearly as talented as these K-pop stars. Therefore, let's all cut them some slack. We should not expect K-pop idols to perform at an unrealistic standard. As laymen, let's give idols the benefit of the doubt whenever they lip sync. There is more than meets the eye.